tell you something. When the elders endorse you, it's a wrap. That's the realness to me. I'm going to always play that video because those elders took it upon themselves to be a part of us and to be a part of our family and to just heighten the credibility of what this is. This is not just about events. This is about a movement. What we're doing. And so we give honor and homage to those elders, Mama Love, Marcellus Burke, Timuel D. Black. I just heard that Bennett Johnson joined the ancestors, Usini Perkins. We love you. And I know you watching over us, making sure that we get the literary flavor going. Y'all pray. Look, elders, don't get it twisted. You prayed for us. And I'm saying that because all of that, sometimes you get this between the generations. But you got to remember what you prayed for. When we come, boop, 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 be ready, boop, boop, boop. So the book fair is a part of making sure that the literary explosion continues. So let us move to the flyness. Now, let me tell you why I love this sister. I love this sister because her faith in me is crazy. You know, this work could be lonely sometimes. No, I'm kidding. No, but for real. And so it's good when you have great minds come to assist you. And this sister's great mind, you've seen her on this show a couple of times now because I'm going to make sure I keep pumping her up. But she does books that help us grow as women, address that enemy within, and she joined our membership. She became a member of our organization. If you become a member with the Soulful Chicago Book Fair, now you mine. Now I get to promote you all the time. So let's bring on my girl, Michelle Renee. Hey, beautiful. You're on mute, girl. We can't hear that good old voice. Hear that good old voice.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you, my dear?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm loving life. Let me tell y'all something. She be handling my life. Not see when you become a member, you get to, I'm gonna give you access to my world. So we talking about this sister comes into the metaverse, has her college classes in the metaverse. She did a workshop last night at our Monday night metaverse mingle. We talking about going into a world in the computer and being able to teach each other and share resources. Last night she did a presentation on book reviews. How do we get more book reviews? And we shared notes, and she went to my website. She went to my place on Amazon and saw she saw reviews I ain't even see yet. So Michelle, I want you to just tell the audience your focus and what kind of books of yours are they going to be able to find at the April 20th Soulful Chicago Book Fair? Give it to them.
Yay. I am prepared to promote 3 books at this time. The Enemy Within. And The Enemy Within is about an elder woman who sees her granddaughter going down the same path she did as a young woman. So she shares her journals with her to give her, a view of what life would look like if she continues down this path. And so her granddaughter reads her journals, and life just opens up for her. Her eyes are open. She sees her grandmother in a completely different way because she didn't know. Many times we hide things from our children, and her children didn't even know. And so her granddaughter is able to remove herself from a situation that could have been worse than her grandmother's. Mm-hmm. So that is the enemy within, and the enemy within is in your household. Sometimes we surround ourselves by an enemy. We don't know that he's an enemy. because there are a couple of phases to a woman being abused emotionally and physically, and almost always it does start emotionally, and almost always it gets to a physical stage. The first stage is it's a tension. You know, after the honeymoon phase is over, there's a tension. You can feel it increase, and there's a breakdown in communication, and you become fearful. You know, you get this ache in the pit of your gut, and you can't figure out what it is. And then phase two is some kind of incident where a woman is verbally attacked, emotionally attacked, and physically attacked. And she becomes afraid of the anger that she sees and the blaming that she gets and the arguing and the threats and the intimidation. And then there's phase three, where there's a reconciliation. There's an apology, or sometimes not an apology, just acts of kindness, where she sees the first person that she saw in the beginning. And the abuser very often gaslights and denies the abuse, denies the incident, and blames it on the woman. And you know, the older I get, I'm exposed to a lot of young men. I have sons, I have nephews, and I have students who are males. And can you believe that these days, very recently, young women are filling the same shoes these days? I got to write a story about that. But then phase four, there's a calm. The incident is forgotten. The apology, you know, is appreciated. And nothing, no negativity takes place. It's the honeymoon phase all over again. And then we're back to the beginning. Those are the phases. And I have, when I wrote these stories, I actually studied. I had a personal experience. I studied the women around me. I studied my aunts and my mom, and you know, and what happened as I was a small child, and I didn't really know what was going on. And then I studied my students and people, just other sisters around me, and it's the same thing. The phases never change. It's the four phases. They never change. It's the same thing. So I thought that I could write stories to address the issue, and in addressing the issue. In my stories, my intent is not to divide families and divide the genders. It's not that at all. What I aim to do is present the information in a story form, because we learn from stories. That's the best way to teach. It's the best way to learn. So I want to write stories that will help families, not only help women understand what they're going through, but also to help men understand what their behavior is like. And again, these days, sometimes that shoe is on the opposite foot, and it just amazes me. But in hopes that our young people can learn from the mistakes of the past, so that we don't have to always break our families up. We could just do self-reflection. And so the men who read my stories learn how not to behave. And the women who read my stories also learn how not to behave, because in many instances when you are abused, you know, you can blame it on other people if you like, but you got to look within yourself. What is it that caused you to put yourself in the position that you find yourself in? What is it that causes you to remain in such a state? So yes, so it causes both men and women to self-reflect, and in hopes that in self-reflection that we can learn, that we can stop our generational curses, because broken families is a generational curse.
Yes,
we did not have broken families when we were in our motherland. We did not. We learned that here in our slavery. We learned that here. And so how do we get back to where we were before we were stolen, before we were carried away captive? So yes, look at our past. Black History Month is ending, and looking at the past, it's a good thing so that we won't make the same mistakes. But also, what about our future?
Oh, come on with it. You know I do
How
future.
can we change our future? Black families are so broken. I mean, we are a statistic, I'm telling you. And we don't understand that in having these broken families, our children are affected. And they are affected all of their lives. They have to learn how to live with the trauma of a broken home. And sometimes, you know, we move too fast. It can be fixed. But other times we move too slow. It can't be fixed. And we have to understand what that looks like. But my suggestion is don't get in it in the first place. Let's look at people. Let's look at ourselves. Let's examine ourselves and examine people up front. Up front. Stop moving so fast. That's the problem in many cases. We move too fast.
Take a minute, y'all. Take a moment.
And follow your gut.
Got you.
You know, I'm a believer in the Most High God. And He gives you this feeling in your gut. He tells you this is not, you should back up. But we ignore that.
Right.
People ignore it for different reasons, but we ignore that. So, you know, let's start not putting ourselves in these positions where we become abused emotionally or physically or spiritually or financially. You know, let's look at ourselves. Let's look at the person that we are trying to attach to up front. Let's do this ahead of time now so we can stop the generational curse of having broken families. Because I can bet you a quarter. I'm not betting no more than that because I'm not a gambler. But
bet you a quarter.
I can almost guarantee that a person that is experiencing abuse, they saw it ahead of time.
Yeah,
no question. The person was going to change. They thought they were all of that, and they could love the thing out of the person, but you can't love that demon away. That demon has to want to change. That demon has to want to identify his or her behavior, his or her generational curse, and has to dig deep, do some prayer or some self-reflection and some therapy or whatever else. They can drink some ginger tea. I don't know.
You funny. Drink some ginger tea. We actually have a caller too. Look, we actually have a caller now. We've been getting it in so good with so many great people. I'm not sure what topic they want to touch on, but you do children's book too. So even if they want to take it back, we're going to circle back. Let me see who this is. We have caller 708-800. You're on. Are they still here? 708-800. You're on the line. Where you calling from? I know we was getting it in. I know you've been sitting there for a minute, but if you're still there, the line is open for you to comment.
The call just dropped, but
okay, the call dropped. Okay, we'll be right here. I'll be looking for the next message, but the call dropped. So let me just say this or ask you this, Michelle. What do you see? Who do you want to draw to the book fair to come and experience your books?
I'd like to draw families. I like to draw women who are in a situation where they are experiencing any phase of abuse, so that they can get some hope and they can feel some strength as they read my stories, and they can figure out how to get help. And I also like to draw a young woman, and a young man too. And I keep saying young men are being abused emotionally and financially and verbally in such great lengths these days. So I would like to draw young people, Gen X and the millennials who appreciates learning from their elders, who appreciates digging into the past for the sole purpose of making the future better for for themselves, their children, and their children.
Absolutely. We have to, you guys, and I love situations where I could just sit and be quiet for a minute. 'Cause I'll be talking all the time, but we have such prolific people in our cipher here with the Soulful Chicago Book Fair, and I'll ask that question because you have those of us that read, but then people think that certain populations don't really read, and our people are out here looking for answers. They're looking for solutions. And the beauty of our authors, guys, is that we usually, the ones I feature anyway, they focus on these stories being written for us, for our benefit, according to us, because a lot of people write about us and we be getting, fluxed about that. But no, when you come to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair, you're dealing with people that are going to be similar to your reality. You find so many facets of us in that room, but to be able to come and read something that will give you some answers, help you understand how to handle an abusive situation, help you understand how to foster a successful relationship. We need some studying on that because it's been off for a while. We have been under the control of others, and so we're dealing with some challenges, and what better way to find out how to address those challenges by coming and getting a book that deals with that. And so I just want to say to you, Michelle, I am so thoroughly thankful that you chose to deal with that, because it's a little vulnerability when you deal with these issues around relationships, abuse, because you got to tell part of your story. I was abused. Only happened once though, baby. I told him, you hit me, you go to jail. So he want to try me. Yeah, he said, if I hit you, that's what I want to do. Oh, you do? I was on that, I was going to call it a pulpit. I was on that court stand talking about, I'll take jail time for 200. Don't play with me. Like a game. But the reality is that created a chasm for my daughter, to me. You know what I'm saying? While my goal is to keep her happy all the time, there was still that absence and that breaking of the family, that she didn't get to, grow up with a father figure in her life. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff just has to be healed. However, it's going to be healed over time. But your books, what I love about them, because you also do books about relationships, they're going to help people know, like you said, know what not to do, women and men, and then what to do to create a harmonious living amongst our people.
Yeah, because when there's an abuser, whether it be a male or female, what that person's intent is to raise your tolerance. You cannot allow them to raise your tolerance. Instead, we have to raise our standards.
Okay.
We have to understand the difference
between raising our
tolerance and raising your standards.
What do you mean by raising your tolerance exactly?
Raising your tolerance. In the phases of abuse, they take you through these 4 phases. And so because you experience that phase 4, where you go back to the beginning, how you felt in the beginning in this honeymoon phase, then you are going to experience another incident.
Oh, I see.
And
so your tolerance for the bull.
Your tolerance for the bull crap.
No, I see
raise your tolerance for the bull crap, but you have to not allow that. You have to raise your own standards instead.
Got you. I see what you mean, because we do become complacent,
We
and
do.
we allow for these things to occur, but we have to shift what's normal to us.
And we do that because many of us, males and females, when I wrote these books, they were directed to females. But I'm telling you, as I live, I need to write some more because I need to write to males and females.
I got
So
you.
these stories are for the abuser too, if so that they know what not to do and how
Yes.
not to be and how not to love.
How not to love, Lord. Look, I was talking earlier this week to a friend and talking about how in Scientology, how love is viewed. L. Ron Hubbard talks about how love is a compound emotion of admiration and sympathy. He said people do weird dances over love, people kill over love, but it's more so admiration you want to focus on. Do you admire the person? What do you admire about them? Because love can get real funny sometimes. I'm going to hit you because I love you. That's why I'm going to spank you. Or, domestic violence. Somebody is so in love with somebody that they hurt them, and as a people having experienced colonialism and slavery, that love is real confusing because they make you think God wants to hurt you. God is here to hurt you, even, and that He's advocating you being hurt. So the reality is, we need a new normal where we treat each other good, and we actually finesse good relationships.
Where we can love and be loved. We can learn how to love each other. And can I end with this?
Come on, baby.
They don't have to hit you. They don't have to choke you. They don't have to slam your head into a wall in order for it to be domestic violence. They can degrade you, humiliate you, blame you, scream at you, lie to you, cheat on you, gaslight you, making you think it's your fault. They can withhold finances or take all of your finances, and they can even just try to control you. It's still domestic violence. As simple as that.
Yep, as simple as that. You guys get ready. Michelle, I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. They gonna get the goodness when they come to the book fair to experience your books. You guys, that's Michelle. Well, they can go to michellerenee.com. Is that where they can go? I'm going to get their name up so y'all could get that clear. That's right, michellerenee.com. That's how you spell her name right there, baby. And come and get books that are going to teach you how to do family better, teach you how to do relationships better in a way that's entertaining. And people love her writing. So thank you for being here today, my darling.
Thank you.
We love having you, and we are going to take a quick commercial break and get ready for our next guest. Our next guest. I got dope sisters up here, baby. Who said it ain't good women in the world? Anyway, thanks, Michelle. You guys, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with somebody I know you're going to love.